Okay, y'all, we're back. Real TV, previously recorded, coming from you on the east side of the United States. Georgia's in the house. If you're from Georgia, what's up, y'all? Worldwide. New York, I see you. Colorado, I see you. Germany, what's up? Johannesburg, what's up? Wherever you are in the world, I thank you again for joining tonight, today, this morning, this afternoon, this evening. Thank you for joining Real TV. Round of applause, please. You are far too kind. Thank you. Thank you. You could be anywhere in the world tonight. Even though you decided to tune in with me. Tonight's topic at hand. This is going to be a double. We're going to pull a double, triple maybe. But this is the second show of tonight. There's so much information to give you. It's heart-wrenching, to be honest. Especially with your daily activities and you have to do this and do that. But there's nothing more important than getting this information across. Silence is betrayal. Silence is betrayal. If you know the truth and don't say the truth, then the blood is on your hands. So speak up. There's no need to be scared. Just speak up. There's a lot of work to do. So whatever truth you have, my guide to you is to somehow create a podcast of decency, of whatever's going on in your neighborhood, whatever it is that is going on spiritually that can help people, grow and to do better for the good of Yahushua. And yes, if you've never heard that name, yes, it is the Most High's Son name, Yahushua. Starts with the Y. But this is not, I'm not going to get too deep into this. Again, this is Real TV, so topics may veer, or I may steer conversations here and there. But, it's just all about keeping it real. But the letter J wasn't created until around the year 1611. So Jesus is not the real name. That wasn't his real name. I'll give you a prime example, okay? Just to modernize it for you, to give you a better idea, okay? So take the word Sony. Let's say you get a Sony iPod. Let's say the Sony came out with an iPod, or the latest Sony Blu-ray HD TV, right? With each product comes a booklet, comes a manual attached to this product. And in this booklet, there's different languages. There's English, there's French, there's Spanish, there's maybe some German in there, maybe some Mandarin Chinese, Japanese, maybe a few other languages, right? In this handbook, in this manual. Though the manual gives instructions on how to properly use the product in different languages, the name Sony remains the same. You get it? You follow me? Okay. Let me use another example. Again, I don't want to stay too long on this topic, okay? But let's say someone from India name, I'm just gonna make up some name, I don't know, it was Rendezvous Lakabalama, right? So Rendezvous Lakabakalama, right, came to the airport, and that was his real name. But let's say he went through U.S. Customs, he had dual citizenship, but he wanted to cross over to become a full citizen. So let's say he went to U.S. Customs and whatever, Border Patrol, what have you. They say, okay, you can't have your name. So we have a list of names here that you could choose from. though his real name is that's his Indian heritage name. If they change his name to Nathaniel, just because we call him Nathaniel, that's his, you know what I mean, his new name, his original name remains the same. Okay? So there's nothing, so we got to go back to the source. There's plenty of scriptures in the word. You ever heard the word Alleluia, Hallelujah, or Kumbaya? Well, the word Yah means God or the Most High in Hebrew. Look it up. Do your research. That's why you say Hallelujah, Kumbaya. Come by here, God. Come by here, Most High. Come by here, Lord. You understand? I'll touch into that in a different show, some down the line. I'm going to go ahead and take a break, y'all. Tonight's episode is going to be called There Are Witches Among Us. Witches. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. The song that you hear tonight is called The Rapture. This is something that I did a while back, so I hope that you enjoy. 1 minute, y'all. Stay tuned. Real TV. I would like to share with you a dream that I had last night. And so glad, I'm thankful it is morning to see the sun through the blinds and the lines on my chest from the sun rays. As I lay on this bed, I was scared, but I'm glad that I am awake. I'm glad that I can poetically incline these words. Poetically incline some verbs, some nouns of how it would happen. I had a dream that I was on a bus and I was alone, no driver and nobody on the bus, a yellow school bus. And I got out the bus as I looked through the window pane in the sky. And the moon was red, and the sky was black, and nobody was round. My heart just pound and pound and pound and pound, and pound. As I looked around, I felt alone. It was like the world ended and I was the only one left home. Like a rapture happened. I was so scared because I was left there because I didn't love you right. I didn't become a part of the rapture that happened that night. Poetically inclined, I must try to convey these words to you. I don't know. I'm just glad that I'm awake. I'm glad that you're here next to me. I'm glad that you're here next to me. Okay, y'all, thank you. That was a previously recorded song from way back when. Some time ago, called The Rapture. So, Real TV, again, welcome. Tonight's episode is called There Are Witches Among Us. And yes, this is true. Not just talking about the latex skin and reptilian eyes. I'm not just talking about the androids or the synthetic androids or clones. That's for a whole nother podcast. I want to share with y'all something that touched me today that actually caused this show to go into labor. There's a colleague of mine. I wouldn't necessarily call him a friend because I don't know much about him. And from the outside, I mean, he seems When I first met him, he seemed like a legit guy, you know what I mean? Can't judge books by their covers, of course. But, as I got to know him, and, we've dealt business together, what have you. But long story short, I saw this picture of him on Instagram, and what caught my attention was that he was stretched out on the hospital bed, completely passed out. There was a tube in his mouth. He was on a feeding tube. He was on a breathing tube, feeding tube, IV, and it looked like whether it was his mother, his sister, or dad, or whoever, someone, it could have been a family, could have been a friend member, but it was someone of his same race who had their arm on his arm while, right next to him in this hospital bed scene. And from the angle, they didn't take the picture. I'm assuming, which I'll go into, that his girlfriend took the picture. Now, with that being said, on the title of his Instagram short bio, it says that I'm a writer, I'm a feminist, and then it says wizard on there. And then he talks about and has pictures on there about how to be a wizard, how to be a witch. Now, his girlfriend does yoga. And I don't know if you, the listener, if you know anyone that does yoga, but you need to learn and know what you're getting into before you even get into it. It's more than exercising and stretching. It's a spiritual thing that you're doing. And if you're doing it and haven't read the book, the Bhagavad Gita, then you definitely need to stop, because that book explains what you're doing and who you're chanting to, those ums and ahs. There's a reason behind that and what you're doing it and who you're doing it for. Alright, you need to understand this. And if you don't know anything about the Kundalini, then you definitely need to stop yoga. Because what this is, the more and more that you do it, because it's a spiritual thing, it's not just stretching, it's not just Pilates, okay? The more and more you do this yoga, it is said that at the bottom of our spine, scientifically in anatomy and physiology structure of our body, it is said that we have this small coil at the base of our spine. Well, in yoga, they believe in opening up the 7 chakras. And the different levels of advancement, the deeper you get into learning yoga and doing the practices of yoga, you're able to uncoil this snake-like coil, which is at the base of the back of our spine. And as this invisible snake, if you will, this nervous system uncoils itself, it stretches from the base of the spine to the top of the spine, underneath the abdubla oblongata. Underneath, it basically stretches to the very base level of the back of the brain. Can't get my words together right now. It's a little late right now. But as this uncoils, it is said that you're opening up the Kundalini, and with this Kundalini is the Great Awakening. It's the spiritual awakening of this very demonic entity and the energy that you get. So if you don't know about this, you need to do your research before you get into all this stuff. It's more than just yoga. Okay? Now, though anyone can get in any type of situation at any given time, it's deeper than this. Something happened to this guy. And I could be wrong, I could be right. But I'm 90% sure that it has to do something with his involvement into recently wanting to become a witch, wanting to become this warlock or wizard. And then if you go to the profile page of his girlfriend and the pictures that he has on his own page, they're in this forest. They have pictures of being in the forest with crystal balls and lighting incense and black cats and these Wicca books. Tonight's episode is about witches. Witches are